Hello, everybody. Good evening. It is June 16th, 2026. It's Tuesday. It is not quite 6:30 yet, but hello to all of those who are watching the replay. I am glad that you are here as we wait for some viewers to join live. If this is your first time around, hello, welcome. My name is Anne Marie. I am the AM from Handmade by AM Bevel. And I'm glad that you're here because tonight we're going to do a little coloring. It's been a while since I've done that, and I thought it was just, it was time. If you would just take a moment, if you have not already, to subscribe to me if you like this type of content. I'm here most every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Central live. And if I'm not live, I am trying to have a video pre-recorded that would premiere at 6:30 p.m. Just, keep everybody on schedule. I like a nice schedule. I don't know about you. So, as far as announcements, I want to talk about the special that I am running this month. So every $50 that you spend with me at my Stampinup store, and you can find that link in the comments, or you can just select Anne Marie Bevel as your demonstrator, whichever way works for you. Every $50 you spend will enter you for a chance for a $50 Stampin' Up! Reward shopping spree from me. So you do need to be opted into the Stampin' Reward program to be able to receive that. And I have added a second prize of $25 in rewards. And it is possible for one person to win both, because if you ordered $100, you would have 2 entries. So spread the word. It's a great time to order. You just never know. You could be the lucky winner. And let's see. Hello to Mom and hello to Linda. Surfing. I don't know what that comment says. It says something different over here. So, okay, I don't know. I have the comment on the computer says one thing and it says a different thing on my phone, but I'm glad that you're here regardless. The other thing to talk about is the product of the month. So if you are already shopping and spending to enter into the giveaway from me at the $75 order, you can add the Wild Bunch stamp set for $5. And it is while supplies last. This is the June 2026 product of the month. And this is what I'm showcasing this evening. So maybe that will entice you a little bit. I am going to be coloring 2 ways. And I picked the little cow to color live. But I have I have the other ones colored as well. And that's kind of it for my announcement. So we are just going to go ahead and jump into the action tonight. Why not? This is a brand new sheet and there was already cat hair. I guess Turbo did walk through at one point. So this is the Wild Bunch stamps that I already have this lowered for coloring. And we have a little birthday, and we have this. I think I'm going to use probably this sentiment. My sample uses this. I think I'm going to stick with that. And you can add a little present or a little birthday hat on them. I haven't done that. I should have done that. It is pretty cute. It's a little birthday hat. I did all those birthday cards, so I'm kind of birthday carded out. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring over, this is a piece of the thick cardstock, because I am going to use Stampin' Blends, which are our alcohol markers, and I'm going to do some work with our watercolor pencils. So I am going to use the hybrid ink. I know when this came out, I'm still a little on the fence about it, but I do have my Pierce mat underneath, which does help with the stamping. And I want to show how nice that we only have one ink for either doing watercolor type stuff or the alcohol, so you don't have to think anymore which ink pad you need to grab. So if you do not have this, and I know I've talked about it, it is sometimes a struggle bus to get it off. Like if you just try to pull it, it is not coming off. But if you take it and open it like compact, then it will come apart. Now, I did show a trick when this first came out. You could lay like a piece of ribbon or twine in there and lift up, and that can help as well. But I do think the more you do the compact open, so hold it and just break it, crack it open, I do think it gets easier. So I have learned that. So this is the first time I'm really stamping with this live on the air. So I'm going to stamp 2 of these little, I guess, I don't know if it's technically a Highland cow. I guess it is because he's got bangs. This is a nice foam, not a foam, a nice firm linen pad. And this is the, ooh, that didn't come out very good at all. This, again, this is the thick cardstock, not the white willow, which I do think reacts a little bit better. Let's see if that one is better. Yeah, that looks much better. That's so weird. I do recommend having your stamp spritz to help clean this. It will stain slightly your stamp. It does not affect the your stamps being stained. It doesn't affect them stamping. So you notice the pressure and a little longer pressure I have found works well, and we can kind of let them hang out for a second while I clean my stamp off. So the other recommendation with this is before you start getting too crazy with coloring is just to let it sit there for a second. We're not going to like run right into coloring. And what I did is I spritzed my stamp with my Stampin' Spritz. I show you, this is like such an old bottle. I just have refilled it. It's so old, the old logo in the green. But I just sprayed the stamp and then used my chamois to wipe it off. And that does help. You can do that with any of the colors, but I have found with this new hybrid black, basic black hybrid ink, that the spritz is helpful. Not necessary, but helpful. Okay, so we have our 2 cows, and I think I'm going to do the Stampin' Blends up top first, and I'm not going to be too crazy with this now. I don't need this anymore, so that'll help. Let's put that back up there. I have like 2 or 3 of those, and they just kind of wander throughout. If you're curious about colors, I've grabbed my dark and light pecan pie, I think dark and light crumb cake, and then what is this? This is dark petal pink. Really? What's this? I see my pinks are separated. So dark petal pink, because that'll be for the ear. So I think I'm going to come through. So now I can't remember how dark is this dark. So I always recommend with your blends, now these are alcohol markers, to, you know, use your little leftover pieces from your stamping to give you an idea of what things are going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and take the dark and go around his eyes a little bit. Now I did look at the online store where they have some card samples to see kind of how they colored their cow, and that's kind of how I mimicked my coloring. So full disclosure there. So that was the dark pecan pie. Now I'm going to come in with the light pecan pie. And I like to use the bullet tip, and I like to do little circles. You can't see that very well, so we'll just move that back down. You know, it does not take a lot. And as you layer the color on, it does blend through. So you kind of start to get some light variation. So now I'm going to come with my crumb cake up here. This is the dark crumb cake up on his little hair here, and we'll do a little bit on his nose. What colors would you color your Highland cow, or you're going to be picking them up this month with your $75 order? What like fun colors could we do? This is kind of a realistic cow as far as colors. I was almost thinking, the idea I had, which I haven't done, is maybe Cajun Craze. So then he's like kind of a red, orangey kind of guy. I'm going to come through with, that's the brush tip. I want a little bit more color, and then I can use this lighter to blend that down a little bit. And again, this is the thick cardstock. And remember, we use that hybrid ink. And kind of as it dries, it really starts to meld together. And then I'm just going to come through with this. Ooh, that brush tip is not in a good place. And so there's our blend cow. Put the light on the camera there. Oh, he's so cute. Moo. Oh, Highland cow. Oh, girls and boys have horns. Mom's doing some Highland cow research while she's watching, because she had said it's a Highland bull, but she said that the boys and girls have horns, so it could be a lady cow. I'm good with that. Maybe our lady cow would be pink or something. So that's the cow. Make sure to drop your color ideas in either the live comments or on the replay down in the main comments. Again, we'd love to know what would be some fun. Yeah, would we do a pink and a blue cow, and then they could be friends? All right, so then for my second coloring option, I'm going to use the watercolor pencils. So we do have two packs of watercolor pencils, and both of my packs are mixed together, so I can't tell you what colors come from which box. I just recommend have both sets, and then you're good. And then I also have our blender pen, which is a great water alternative with the pencils, and I will demonstrate that. These come in a 3-pack, and they just have this liquid in there. Okay, I don't really know what the liquid is, but it's magic. I'm going to call it the magic liquid. So I do have, I think, a couple, let's see, we have a pecan pie, which is one of the colors here. We have a Cajun Craze, which is more orange. I have a crushed curry, that's yellow. Then I have yellow, a part of gray, and a pink. But see that? The pencils are close, so I want to see all 3 colors before I make a decision. So I like the way this Cajun Craze is. So I think I'm going to do it as like I'm pressing down pretty firm because I want there to be a good amount of color, because this is how I'm going to shade. And I'm kind of following my same shading pattern as I did for the markers. Now, with the pencils, I like trying to make sure I'm doing the same stroke. So along this, underneath his face, his neck area here, his shadow, I am trying to make it the same. I was tempted real quick to go this way, but we don't want that. We want to try to keep the same stroke direction. And then I'm just going to come through with a light And then I might just come through with this pecan pie and just kind of go over all of it. Kind of turns into a red cow. I kind of like that. So this is what we're looking like right now. Kind of cute so far. Oh, I forgot to do his ears. And let me go ahead and do his little pink. And then I think I'm going to try this crushed curry. Now the crushed curry pencil definitely looks a bit different than the crushed curry ink, but again, it's close. So I'm gonna rotate my paper here. Again, with the colored pencils, I like to keep the same stroke pattern, being so right-handed. Mom's left-handed. We, you know, not everybody can be perfect, right? And then I'm just changing the pressure with the pencil. Do his little snout. And there's the little cow and pencil, which he looks super adorable this way. And Mom said to make his bangs darker. And what if I threw a little basic gray? But now what we're going to do is come through, so that basic gray kind of darkened him up a little bit. Now with this blender pen, I can come through, and I'm going to do just one color at a time. I'm going to come through and very gently blend. That color out, and then I'm going to come over here and clean my tip off. And then I'm going to start up here. Just blend him out. Blend his little ears. But now he looks like that. So what's great is these blender pens allow you to take the colored pencil and blend multiple colors together. So you can see how that gray blended in with the yellow. It looked pretty, I thought it looked all right on its own. But adding that blender pen really makes a difference. Again, they come in a pack of 3. They're not real expensive. I always suggest testing. You have 2 ends, right? Make sure you're cleaning off in between. They come in handy with just your ink pad too. And if you take it and you rub it on your hand and you can feel the moisture, and sometimes your hand will be, like you can tell on your hand, this one's starting to be at the end of its life. That's how you know it's still good. Because if you start to color in and it's not blending, you could, if you do it too much, it could pill the paper, and you don't want that. So you want to be short. I like short strokes, but you could use this with watercolor paper, and you could use a lot more of the fluid, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to fussy cut a cow out. And that's going to go on our project, and you don't know the rest of the project. So I'd like the vote is, do we want the top marker cow or do we want the pencil cow? Marker cow or pencil cow? For our project. You don't know? Either is going to work fine. Either will be fine. I'm gonna be patient here. Man, cutting that little tail out's gonna be fun. Pencil cow or marker cow? While I'm waiting for the comments to pencil. Pencil is the first one I see, so pencil cow will be our winner. We'll put marker cow over here. We still like the marker cow though, don't we? Oh, he's so cute. Woo. Okay. Okay, fussy cutting. It's not everybody's favorite. I can't say it's my favorite thing to do, but I don't mind doing it in small quantities. The trick is keep your scissors open, move the paper. I do think keep trying to shoot for a little bit of a border around your object is helpful, and I think it looks nicer, because if we had dies for these little guys, then it would have a little white border on it, correct? Do a little focus. So it does kind of make it look a little better. The more you fussy cut, the better you will get at it. Now, if you said, I don't want to fussy cut, Anne-Marie, that sounds like the worst thing on the planet, even in a very small amount, especially with a tiny tail, what would I be doing? I probably would use a shaped die. So like a small circle die or a circle punch or an oval, something to cut him out to give him a little bit of a focal point. So that's a great option for those who just can't get on the fussy cutting train. And I do have to say that the cow is probably the hardest one to cut out. I'm not sure why I did that to myself. The koala, much easier. The penguin is probably the easiest. And I'm doing it live on camera. So normally this would be a lot closer to my face. I would be probably up here doing it. If you can see in the small picture, I'd be up here. So it's just a little different for me doing it here. Almost done. We've got a tail sticking out. We have a horn. We have 2 horns and 2 ears sticking out and little hairs sticking out. There we go. There he is. I am not cutting that. That just gets to say. So let's take a look at, before we do our card. So this was the other cow that we colored with the markers. And on here I have another marker cow. This is a pencil cow that looks a little bit more like the marker cow. So here's our differences. The Cajun Craze one's pretty cute. Cute little red cow. Here's a snail. There's a snail missing because my sample has the snail on it. So this snail is colored in pencil. I think the one on my sample is also colored in pencil. I didn't do a marker snail. I have the koala. And I do think I used the color lifter right up there. And there's a pencil koala. But I don't think I used the blender pen. Maybe I did. And then on the penguin, I think both of these are markered penguins. So the penguin pretty easy. You just don't want to snip that little wing off there, little flipper. That's a flipper. This is just a wing. Arm, wing, arm. I don't know. So those are all of the little animals. Yeah, I know it's not in focus because we're down. So for the project tonight, to finish, to actually make a card, I have a sketch inspiration, and it is this sketch here. I'm going to raise up a little bit, boop, 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 and we will refocus. So this is what we're working with tonight, and I will give you my measurements. So this is Secret C, and see this embossing folder? So this is a 3D embossing folder that's coming out next month, and it just, I thought, went really well with all of the animals, because as I was prepping, I didn't know exactly which of, I colored the animals first, the extra ones I showed you. And then I didn't know, I was like, oh, it would be universal. And I was like, oh, we have this new cool tree ring. I don't know what it's called, but it's cool tree ring. That's what I'm calling it. So this is Secret C. And inside of here, I have a white piece for inside. I have a piece of designer series paper. So this is our sketch. And this piece of designer series paper is 3.5 by 4.5. So a little different. I have just a little strip of paper, and this is 5 1/4 by 1/4. And then instead of the ovals, I did some squares. So I just die cut with the stylish shape dies. And we have our little Highland cow that will probably go on there. I want him to be a little outside the box, I think. But we are going to stamp a sentiment, and I think I'm going to stick with the just a little note. So we're going to stamp it right on the DSP. We're going to be real brave. Real brave. And I think if I stick it right up here, we're going to have a good result. And we're going to stamp it with Secret C, which is a 2527 in color. It's like faded jeans. I am going to do, yep, I think that looks good. Just a little note. And what's great about a just a note card, if you leave the inside blank, then you can always add, you know, you could say just a note, and then you can put happy birthday inside or get well. It's kind of a really good way to do whatever. So this is like this funny little checkered flag situation. So I'm just going to stamp it inside to create a little border. Still going to stick with Secret C. And I like that I can just kind of butt that up to repeat the pattern. So then we have a fun little pattern inside. Could have taken DSP and done that, but I really like this little hatchy situation, hatch stamp. So let's assemble. Now this paper that I'm using, you can see the back here, and this green one is from the same paper pack. You're like, wow, that's some really interesting paper choices. So this is from the Mixed Up Patterns DSP, and these are the other papers in there. So kind of like a paper I showed last week, that it has a variety of things in one pack. So when you get this, you get 2 of each sheet. You know, and we're used to getting like a thing of all florals, or there's like the Winnie the Pooh paper, or the floral tropical fern paper, or whatever. This is really giving you it's like you went into an old school craft store and went off the rack and go, oh, I like this yellow stripe one, and oh, I like this blue pattern one, and you just got a couple sheets to kind of give you like a large variety of options. I did like in this pack that we did get a wood grain, which I think goes with everything. And then I selected this old olive grungy one just because I thought it was just going to look good with any of the animals. So this little piece of strip here could have been a ribbon, but I couldn't agree on a ribbon that I like. So I was like, you know what? We all have these little, well, not all of us. Some of y'all keep this on a normal basis. I cut this down to 1/4 of an inch. And with that, we do need to use our Tombow to put that on. Where is my Tombow? Tombow? Dumbo, oh, he knocked over. Probably for my cat. So with the embossed background and the patterns going on, we have a lot of actual texture and perceived texture. Because even though we don't feel this wood grain, we get the idea of the texture. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down as well. Stylish shape dies. I mean, you could use punches, whatever you would like. And again, this is our sketch. And I am going to use dimensionals for Mr. Highland Cow here. I guess I just am going to have 2. Maybe he goes on a little crookedy. Or she. I don't know, it feels kind of, it turned into kind of a masculine card, which I think is just fine. And then we're going to put some bling on it. Oh, we need to put this in first. We'll just use the tape, the old tape gun. Yeah, bust out the Tombow. And we'll get some bling. I'm going to, let's see, what color? We've got all these dark colors. We got the green. I do think I have some bling that has old olive. Items in the bling book may or may not be available. I stopped trying to keep track of which bling was available and not. I probably preach this a lot, but I will do it again this evening. If you're in the store, the Stampin' Up store, and you see a bling and go, wow, that's really cute, I think I'd like that. Just buy it now, because then it'll be gone, and then you'll be sad you don't have it. So these blings, Moody Palette Glossy Dots, these look like these might be the blue, or do I use the green, or the white? I think I'm going to use these. I don't know if these are Secret Sea or Night of Navy or black. They're definitely blue. I don't think they're black. I'm going to use these because the bling's going to be on more of this white. And I think if I put the green on this, it would just kind of disappear, and we don't want that. And I'm kind of going in the life is short, use more bling mode. Oh, isn't he cute? He's like a little dancing cow. So a simple little sketch. And I have one sample to show. Just one sample. I know. One sample. I was working on stamp club projects this weekend, so I didn't have as many samples. So I have this snail. Oh, he's so cute. So this paper is from the Moonlit Flora, which I think is currently unavailable. So I want to show you what I did, because can you see? I want to show you what I did. Where's the other? I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Where's the piece of paper? This is the paper I used, wasn't it? No, it wasn't this paper. I was going to use the paper. It's the Lily of the Valley paper. I don't know if that one's available or not. Where did I... Here we go. It was this paper. Goodness gracious. So the back has this cool pattern. Oops, so that's this one. And I kept looking at this sheet. So this is a 6 by 12. Oops, sorry. This is from the paper share that I did. And I took the die because I want you to experience how I do some of these things. And so I took the die and laid it on the paper and I had the snail cut out already. Because I think I picked this and I said, oh, I need the snail on there. So pretend Mr. Cow is cut out. So I took the die and laid it up here because this is what I ended up cutting. And I would kind of place it. And then I laid the snail to see, did I have enough to put the sentiment on there, stamped it on there, and have the little snail. And then since it was 6 inches, I can run that through the machine. So to keep that in place, you could use a sticky note. I've found these little sticky flags work good. And then I could hold that in the place that I decided and then run it through the machine. So I do a lot of things like that where especially in this situation where we're kind of getting this focal point, instead of trying to guess, just take your die to the paper and imagine what your space is going to look like. Because I thought about doing like a full, and I was like, that's just going to be too busy. Then I have to add another piece of paper in for the sentiment. And I already had the texture background and the different papers. So remember, it's okay to stamp on your designer series paper. And so it was kind of fun to pick out. So I had garden green, the inks garden green, and then granny apple green there for the background circle. And then these little sparkly dots I know have been gone for a while. The bling book. So I hope if you are picking up the product of the month, that this gives you a little inspiration, or just to use this sketch, stamp on your designer series paper, have a little fun. So there's my colored snail and colored, so they both ended up being penciled, but I kind of agree. I like the little, it kind of helps pop out. Though I think this one kind of would have popped out too, just because it's the richer color and the blends. He would have just popped out in a different way. But think you could do like the same sketch with these little guys and have a, do a little birthday card or something. So again, the back DSP is 3.5 by 4.5, and my little strip here is 5 1/4 by 1/4, in the card base and the die cuts. So look at what I liked about one of the things I was thinking about, especially when I was prepping for, because when I cut these pieces last night, I didn't know for sure what animal I was going to put on here. I committed to the cow this afternoon after work. So I was picking out generic patterns that would have worked with any of the animals. So the penguin, probably not as great, but the koala could have gone on there. The snail again, I wasn't going to do the snail again. But the koala was going to be an option. And then I didn't know what colors the cow were going to be. So, or whatever item. So I picked kind of these neutral. They're just racing up and down the streets. Sorry, I got real distracted there for a second. Definitely a card that you could duplicate multiple times. Think about, you could just stamp multiple cows, color them all at once. Maybe 4 or 5. This would be a good card to have 4 or 5. We could put happy birthday on here and maybe do a little bit brighter paper, and it would be like a child's birthday card. Or if you did one of each animal, you could duplicate with the same kind of more generic papers. With this one, I wanted to use the snail and the samples, so I was seeking out because that's why I picked that fern paper. I was seeking out something nature-y looking. So it looks, you know, looks like the snail is in that environment. So that is what we have for tonight. So thank you all for being here. If you're still around, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you have not already. I think I'm at 59 subscribers. It's so exciting. I love getting more subscribers. And then I'm going to flip over just as a quick reminder for the month of June, this month, June 2026, every $50 you spend with me, you're going to be entered to win a $50 Stampin' Up! Reward shopping spree from me. And I did add a second prize of a $25 in rewards. So tell your friends. We still have a couple of weeks to go to get entered. And again, it is possible that you could win both prizes. So, because if you spend $100, you'll have 2 entries. So the first name drawn, I'll probably do like that online wheel thing. So the first name will get the $50, and then the second will get the $25 in rewards. So next week, I will be here, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do our Stamp Club projects next week or not, because we are meeting Stamp Club early. So it probably just depends, because we are doing Halloween Sunday at Stamp Club, because July is the new online exclusive, have all the Halloween products. So I don't know if I'm going to do that on the 23rd or wait till the 30th. So we shall see. I could do the same projects, but in different items. I don't know. So stay tuned. Well, it'll be a surprise. It might be a surprise to me too. Who knows? It is right now because I don't have it planned out. So as always, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate your continued support and watching. And just as a reminder, for less than $1, you can send somebody a smile, or even a cute little cow. Who wouldn't want to receive that cute little cow? Or the little snail. I really do like the snail. Snails don't make a noise. They just move along. Everybody have a great evening, and we will see you around. Bye.